If any of this are a trigger to you, please click off the video and take care of yourself. I'm gonna be so serious with y'all. I did not want this to be my first video on this channel. I wanted to do like a book review of like books I read in middle school and stuff because I wanted this to be a reading channel. But this particular topic is just too good for me not to talk about it because the inner child in me that used to watch novelas with my grandma just knows that if the woman was alive today, she would absolutely love these apps. And she would probably spend money on these apps in order to be able to watch all of the craziness that goes on there. Today, I am here to talk about the fact that I got influenced by an Instagram ad of an app called ReelShort. Well, multiple ads like that I got influenced to get. But ReelShort was the first one I got. I've watched 2 stories on there, and I have watched ads to get through the drama. I have checked in every day to get coins in order to unlock chapters without spending money. I have watched ads, like 7 ads in a row in order to get more and more coins, again, so that I wouldn't have to give them money because I'm not going to give money to an app when I can watch an ad. Sure, do I hate watching them? Yeah, but I just mute them and I ignore them and look at something else and disassociate until it's done. Because, what else is there to do? So without further ado, hi, my name is Maria. This is my channel where I originally wanted to be a reading channel, but I guess it's going to be a little bit of everything. So today we're going to be talking about ReelShort and the 2 stories I have watched. So starting out first, we are going to talk about, I believe it's called the Virgin and the Billionaire. And let me tell you, it's a little crazy. It's a little unhinged. It's a little, I don't know, very telenovela-esque. I was watching it and I was like, oh yeah, that's 100% a trope a telenovela would have. Yes, absolutely. So basically, it stars Cindy. She is the maid to a really rich family who has a girl the same age as her named Nikki. They're very abusive to her and they hit her and they insult her. And, she says in her narration that, her mom was like their maid for years. And so she was also a maid once she was old enough. And like they abused her discreetly behind her mom's back. But like literally, as her narration said that, the next thing was literally homegirly grabbed like the mom, like the rich mom, grabbing her by the hair and slamming her down the table. So I wouldn't say that's discreet because if I walked away for a second and I heard that commotion, I would have walked right back. And I would have probably gone ballistic if I had seen my child in that position. So I don't know. Anyway, her mom got sick, so she's in the hospital. So now she is working towards repaying or like finishing up her maid contract, I guess. That's why she takes this abuse. She's going to school to be like a business major, I think. We only ever see her going to like one class. Basically, the story starts with her and Nikki outside of a hotel room. They're dressed the exact same. They're both blondes. And the story loves to like say that they're identical, like exactly the same. I'm gonna try and be able to get screenshots or at least find this actress's Instagram. So I'm gonna put right here what they both look like. I'm gonna identify them, right? They do not look the same. However, the story wants us to think that they can pass off as each other and it's believable. I understand it's a story, it's fiction. Why would I care? But my thing is, if you're gonna make it so that you make your characters out to be identical, at least invest in like twin actors, okay? Please. Like, I'm sure, if you were able to get these actors to work for you, I'm sure you can get twin actors to work for you. Like, everybody has to start somewhere, But that's besides the point. So Nikki is making her go into this hotel room to have sex with the guy inside the hotel room. Why? Because, she's blackmailing Cindy, saying, if you want your mom to get this dang kidney she needs, then you have to sleep with homeboy. And she's like, why? And Nikki says, because he only sleeps with virgins like you, with the most disgusted face. And listen, virginity is a social construct, okay? Like, don't yak on someone's yum. Like, if she wanted to wait till marriage or she wanted to wait till the right person, listen, it's not her fault that she doesn't want to be on everybody's dick. And it's also not her fault that you want to be on everybody's dick. So, That's just my opinion. Nikki says that, she has to go in there and do it, otherwise she won't get her mom her kidney, which it's definitely not how it works. So basically, she says she won't get the kidney. So she sends her in, and there's a man already waiting for her in there. His name is Charles Kane. And I must say, the other story I watched, this guy's last name was also Kane. And my thing is, why is it always Kane? Like, literally, I get other ads, like, on Facebook and Instagram of, like, when you scroll through Reels and you get those ads of, like, Alpha so and so rejected me because, and then you click on it and it takes you to, like, one of those, like, Dream Me or whatever stories where, like, they post those really toxic stereotypes that we all thought we moved on from, but obviously we didn't. And they're always Kane. It's always Kane. Or another last name that I can't think of, but it's always Kane. Kane is always at the scene of the crime. And I'm just like, can we come up with a different last name? Can we be original? Can we be quirky and different for once? So, homegirly, she goes in. The man's already waiting right there. He looks menacing as hell, I'm not gonna lie. Y'all, he looks a little scary. Probably also because the hotel is dark. Like, the room, all the lights are turned off, which, can I just say, that's like a big pet peeve of mine. Because if you're walking into a room, why wouldn't you turn on the lights? I get this, right? Because they're gonna have, like, an intimate moment. I understand that some people don't like to have the lights on whenever they're doing the do, right? But in other circumstances, I hate, like, I watched Smile 2 like 2 weekends ago, and the amount of times I kept whisper yelling to Sky Riley to turn on her goddamn lights, I could have at least $10 from that. If I got $1 for every time I whisper yelled to tell her to turn her damn lights on, I would have $10, which is not much, but it's not a coincidence. Anyway, he immediately, no hesitation, pins her to the wall. She's like, "Don't you want to know my name?" And he's like, "Oh, you smell so good. You feel so good." And, like, they have chemistry, but oh my god, it's so cringy. It's so cringy because she's like, and he's like, and, like, they're always, like, right here. There's never like a here or like a here. It's always here. He's always right up her bum, and I'm just like, dude, space, personal space, like espacio personal, please, I beg you. She goes, "Why do you look like you want to eat me up?" And he's like, "Because I do." Anyway, they do that whole thing. She wakes up the next morning and she has to leave because she's not meant to be there. She got up, she put a robe around herself, and Nikki barged into the room, which I thought was locked, but I guess not, or either that, excuse me, either that or Nikki got a key to the hotel room. If he thought he was meeting her, then maybe he put down her name and stuff. I don't know. Either way, Nikki barges in. She says, "It's about time you wake up." And she makes Cindy hide in a closet while she gets back in the bed with her outside clothes on instead of taking them off, as if this man wasn't just totally cuddling with a naked woman. So you're telling me you were trying to pass off as Cindy, but you're sloppy enough that you won't even take off your clothes to at least act like. Be so for real. Be so freaking for real. Because what do you mean? What do you mean? And then, like, she still covers herself up to here, and she was like, "Oh my god, look what we did!" And, like, he's like, because I would be too. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Anyway, so we cut to Cindy going to class. Charles, which is the name of our protagonist, or male protagonist, is gonna be their new professor because, and I quote from the man himself, "Why have a professor when you can have an actual billionaire teach you everything you need to know?" And I'm like, because, I mean, I understand having somebody, like, with experience to come be like a speaker or like a guest teacher every so often, but to be a full-on professor, right? And not only that, he recognizes her right away. Like, it doesn't help that she's literally sitting in the front row, but he recognizes her he clocks her right away. He's like, "Do I know you from somewhere?" You know? So he goes right up to her desk, and goes, "Do me a favor, collect everybody's assignment." And so she collects it all, and then she gets up, and he's like, "Set them right here," with his hand literally like this. And he holds her, like grabs her hand. He's like, "Do I know you from somewhere?" And she says, "You don't." And he goes, "Don't lie to me." And then she tries to get away, and he holds her. Ah! And he holds her like this in front of the whole class. Hurt really bad. I cut my hand. I have 3 stitches. Side note, I was carving pumpkins. I have only carved pumpkins twice in my life. Up until this past weekend, this was my third time, and I stabbed myself in the hand, and now I have 3 stitches, and I keep hitting myself. Don't ask me why. Anyway, so she, like, makes him let go because what the hell, right? And, like, they go through class, right? And at the end, she's talking to her bestie, and her bestie's like, "Professor Kane hasn't stopped staring at you. He's like totally looking at you. He's totally interested in you." And she was like, "No, he's not." And then she was like, "Look, he's looking at you right now." Mind you, I need you to get this reference. They're in the front row right here. This man's podium, where he's standing to teach, is where my microphone is. You see the issue, right? They're talking like they're not literally right there and he can't hear them. Like, what are you doing? Because what do you mean you're gonna be talking to about this man when you're literally less than, like, what? I don't even want to say. They're probably like 3 feet apart. They're right there, and they're acting like he's 20 feet away. Like, if you're gonna do this thing, at least have them sit in the back, because otherwise, oh my god. Anyway, so she starts talking like, "Oh, why would a guy like that go for me?" And her bestie's like, "Just because the Jenkins, which is the name of the family that's abusing her, just because the Jenkins abuse you and treat you badly doesn't mean that you don't deserve." And then she goes, "Oh my god, I'm so late for work, I gotta go." And she runs off, and gets to she gets to the house. Let me tell you, like, this is the most funniest. When I watched this for the first time, I cackled so loudly, like, cause rich mom literally goes, "You fucking bitch, you're 38 seconds late," and then proceeds to, like, do like a, I don't even know how, she proceeds to kick her in the back of the knees, and she falls, and that's just hilarious to me. I don't know why. I was cackling out loud. And abuse is not funny, but the way the mom delivered the line, and the way that she kicked her, iconic in a horrible way, but iconic regardless. It was hilarious. I truly, if you're willing to sit through ads, I think this is one of the first few episodes, so it wouldn't be super bad. I fully recommend, truly, truly recommend that you watch this, because just even if you just get to that episode by itself, you're gonna laugh so hard. I promise you. Anyway, they keep smacking her because she asked them to stop, and they keep smacking her and smacking her and smacking her. And then Charles gets there with his cousin Harvey, I think is his name, because they're having a dinner to discuss the nuptials. Because I guess in this world, the idea of, like, Charles literally goes, "I took Nikki's virginity, which will ruin her chances for other matches." I'm sorry, are we in 1954? Matter of fact, are we back in, like, Bridgerton era? Because I'm pretty sure, like, that was a thing then. And obviously, I'm sure it was also a thing in 1954 because a bunch of people got married because they had sex or whatever. But, like, what do you mean? In the great year of, I don't know when this was recorded, but based on the fact that I watched it in 2024, I'd like to think that it's in 2024, especially based on the fashion choices. So, or at least 2022 at the earliest. So, what do you mean in the great year of 2024, you're going to say, "I took her virginity, so I ruined her chance at other matches"? No, you didn't. No, you didn't. But that's besides the point. Anyway, they keep being super mean to her. Like, I think at some point, Homegirlie slaps her again, or she goes to slap her, and Charles holds her hand back, and he goes, "Don't touch her." Again, mind you, we're supposed to think that these people look exactly the same. So my thing is, if they look exactly the same, right? I understand why he would be like, don't touch her and stuff, but technically he knows who he slept with, because technically he woke up next to her, although, like I said, they don't look even remotely alike. So why would you just immediately jump in her defense? I don't believe in love at first sight personally, so I don't think it's love at first sight. And he's like, oh my god, you know. But yeah, so then, like, just they keep staring at each other, and he keeps grabbing her like that. Obviously, like he's in front of her. He keeps grabbing her like that, and like getting again real up close to her. And I'm like, dude, I literally wrote down in my notes like their chemistry is so intense. I feel like I shouldn't be watching half the time, but not in like a sexy way, but in y'all don't need to be eye fucking each other right now. This is uncanny and uncomfy, because literally that's what they're doing. Because he's literally right here, and he keeps like what whisper talking to her, and like she keeps doing the whole girl, you're at work. You're at work. Be serious. Be so serious. Asked for Cindy to join them for dinner. And Nikki and her mom are like, why would we have the help join us? She doesn't even have anything to wear. And he keeps saying, don't talk about her like that. And Cindy goes, no, it's fine. It's true. I have nothing to wear. And so this man sends his poor assistant. This is dinner time. And considering they all have American accents, I'm guessing their dinner time is like at 6, 7 p.m. So it shouldn't be horrible for his assistant to find an open store that sells things. Then again, like, bro, be so serious. Anyway, so she gets dressed. And it's like a really pretty satin pink dress. It's actually really, really gorgeous. But then Nikki and her mom come barging in, and they started telling her how ugly she looks and how Charles wasted that dress on you. And Nikki goes, it would look so much better on me. And then they rip the dress off her a la Cinderella. Literally, my notes say they're literally reenacting the Cinderella scene where the stepsisters rip her dress apart. Like, and then they locked her in her room. They locked her in her room. Like, homeboy literally asked for her to join for dinner, and you think he's not going to notice when she doesn't show up? The acting is ass too, by the way. Like, it's really, really bad, but that's besides the point. Especially, like, Nikki. Oh my god. If I can, I'm gonna try. If I can, I'm gonna insert a clip of Nikki acting where, like, she's running up to Charles after dinner, I think, and she goes, hi, baby. And she has her mouth like that. Why? Anyway, so she starts banging on the door, like asking to be let out, begging to be let out, right? And downstairs, he's asking where she's at. And they start saying, like, oh, she's not joining us because she's so disrespectful. Like, that's why we don't have the help come have dinner with us. And then they hear the banging, like, let me out, help, let me out, help, let me out. And he goes, you either let her out or I'm breaking down the door. What do we cut to next? You're right, he broke down the door. Absolutely. He broke down the door, and he sees her there with her ripped up dress, and he takes off his suit jacket, because he's always wearing suits. There's never a time where he's not wearing suits. He takes off his suit jacket and puts her around her, and he stands her up, and they have, again, again, they have this look that they give each other that's really freaking uncomfy, because why am I here? Why am I here? Just shoo everybody out and clog the door and have sex. Like, please, I don't want to watch you. I fuck each other. I beg of you. I don't want to watch it. I do not need to do that. Anyway, he makes his assistant go out to get another dress. And, like, considering the way Cindy looks, I don't think she must have showered at the very least, you know? And I'm guessing it's now a little further into the night, so the fact that he sent his poor assistant out to find another dress, he literally acknowledges, I'm lucky my assistant was able to find this. I really hope they get a bonus, because what do you mean I have to go out again later in the night when it's harder to find something open because you want your whatever side chick, friends with benefits, fuck buddy, whatever, to join you for dinner, and she doesn't have anything to wear, so you want me to go get her a dress again? What happened to the first one? Anyway, the next dress she gets, it's actually really pretty. It's like blue. This one's very Cinderella like. She even has like the gloves. She has those. It's very pretty. I have in my notes that the actress playing Rich Mom is literally so cringy, and I mean this with peace and love. Honestly, I don't know if I mean it with peace and love, because she truly is. She's really good at making you hate her, but she's also very freaking cringe. I would recommend for you to watch this so you can understand, but I don't want you to go through that. Then again, if I had to go through it, you should go through it too. Also, Harvey's talking to Charles about how he keeps like he's infatuated with Cindy and why, and all these things, and why is he doing this, marrying Nikki or whatever. And he goes, because it's the right thing to do. And Harvey's like, why do you let people believe that you only sleep with virgins? Why do you pretend to be a player? This man doesn't even sleep around. This man isn't actually a player. Then again, how would the rumor of him only sleeping with virgins start? Like, how would that start if he's not a player? That's just my thing, because like, you mean to tell me that you're not a player, but a rumor was started that you only sleep with virgins? Be serious. We find out later that he's doing this because he's trying to like merge his company with Nikki's dad's company, and
Hey, baby.
this would be a convenient thing for them to do, I guess. But yeah, they're outside. This is the scene where Nikki goes, "Hey, baby,"
Ms. Jenkins.
and then a gardener comes out of nowhere, and it's like, "Hey, Nikki, I need you to give me approval in those bushes." He's giving hella rapey vibes, creepy vibes. What? And then Cindy comes out, and Harvey is like talking to her and being like, "Listen, Cindy, come work for me. I'll pay you twice the amount that they're paying you, and like you can be free, right?" I guess Harvey is their neighbor, so that's why he's saying like he has seen this constant treatment of her. He's offering her this job, and this girl says, "No, because if I leave, they won't give me the kidney my mom needs." He's offering to pay you double. Again, it's not up to them whether she gets the kidney or not. It's up to UNOS. And if there's a donor available, and she's next on the list, she'll get the kidney. And then you just have to make sure that you have the money to pay for the surgery. And if this man is offering to pay you twice as much as they're paying you, one can infer that she will still get the kidney. We also find out the Jenkins are footing all her medical bills. If he pays you double, you can also foot her medical bills. Matter of fact, he seems to like you enough. Maybe we'll pull the trope of like, I will take care of her, don't worry. Spoiler alert. That does happen. Not with Harvey, but it does happen. So, yeah. Again, Nikki's actress is so annoying. More abuse from Rich Mom, and slut shaming 2 for 1, because she gets sent to clean the dishes. Because why are you talking to Charles and Harvey? Go do your job as maid. Like, Cinderella time is over. And she's washing dishes with her dress still on. Like, her nice pretty blue dress. Girl, change. That's a pretty dress. His assistant went out and got it late at night. Like, change. Please. I beg of you, change your clothes. Anyway, Nikki's mom calls her a whore, and because she's flirting with Charles, which she really isn't flirting with Charles. He just keeps getting really close to her face, and obviously, like, this is the first man she had sex with, so she's like turned on by it, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, and then we find out that apparently Nikki's mom knows that Nikki made Cindy sleep with Charles. But not because Nikki told her, but because Nikki's mom came up with the idea of making Cindy sleep with Charles. Which could, I think, would this count as sexual assault? The fact that they blackmailed her into sleeping with somebody? I'm pretty sure that's sexual assault, no? Nikki decided to, like, I guess, Okay, backtrack. So we found out this about the mom, like coming up with this plan, right? Do you really think Nikki could come up with a plan like that? That's literally what she says. And then Charles comes out of nowhere and goes, "What plan did Nikki come up with?" And she's like, "Oh, just like the wedding and everything. Like, where's Nikki?" And again, Charles says that she ditched him for the gardener, which is not the truth. Like, she did ditch him for the gardener. And then she walks off mad to go find Nikki. And Charles, he comes up to Cindy and he's like, "Why do you let them treat you this way?" And she's like, "It's okay." And he's like, "They should give you respect." And she goes, "I get respect when it's important." And he goes, "People give you the respect you demand, not deserve. Start demanding it." Literal quote from him. Which, I mean, kind of slates. Kind of eats, not gonna lie. But he would eat more if he wasn't, again, this close to her face, but holding her chin like this and doing the whole. Like, they're literally, their lips are ghosting each other. This cannot get more Wattpad, y'all. I can tell you with certainty, I have read plenty of books on Wattpad when I was 14, where this exact same thing, where they were like super, happened. Anyway, he grabs onto her, right? And he says, "Come on, demand respect." And she goes, "Please don't touch me." It's like, say it like you mean it. Just because she said it softly doesn't mean it's not commanding respect. Anyway, you should still respect her boundaries regardless, but that's besides the point. Then she eventually yells and she goes, "Don't touch me without my permission." And then, lo and behold, he starts grabbing at her again in like a sexy way. And now my thing is, like, and I said this in my notes, why is this man agreeing to marry Nikki when he's all up in Cindy's business? Like, just marry Cindy at this point? Also, every time they talk, he gets like almost nose to nose with her. Like, "I hope you brush your teeth after dinner because otherwise I don't know how she isn't gagging." Because truly, like, I I'm a married woman. So this means I share a bed with my husband, and whenever we cuddle, sometimes the way we sleep, he ends up breathing in my face. And if you're anything like me, I hate when people breathe in my face, regardless of whether you just brush your teeth or not. I don't care. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. So I really do hope, like, that he did brush his teeth at least, because otherwise I'd be gagging. I'd literally be puking on his shoes, to be completely honest with you. But she changes finally, because Nikki calls for Charles or whatever, so she has to leave. And Nikki and Cindy finally changes, and she's outside picking up trash, which I don't know why there's that much trash, because there wasn't a party. It was just Nikki's mom, Nikki, Harvey, Charles, and herself. It's just 5 people, but there was like a bunch of plates and cups, and she filled up a whole trash can. Anyway, all of a sudden, Nikki's mom comes out of nowhere and she knocks the trash can over, making all the trash spill out. And I want to tell y'all, I would become violent. People would cease to exist if somebody did that to me. I hope you know. And then we cut to like this in between scene of like just a long stare down of Cindy with Charles saying the whole "people give you the respect you demand, not deserve, start demanding it," whatever. And she goes, "You made the mess, you pick it up. I spent an hour picking up this mess, and then you ruined it, so you get to pick it up." And then she walks off. Which, I mean, period, queen. Love this for you. So she goes into her room to start doing homework, doing the fakest typing I've ever seen, but what's new and these kinds of things. Like, TV shows and movies and stuff, they always have the fakest typing ever to exist in this world. And it's just hilarious to me. Anyway, she gets a text from her own mom, her bio mom. Mom? Her bio mom. I can't speak today. Her bio mom saying, "Happy birthday, baby. You didn't think I'd forget, did you?" And, she, instead of replying to her mom's text, she answers, "Thank you, Mom. I knew you wouldn't forget." And then she receives another text from her mom that says, "Oh, and wish a happy birthday to Nikki too. It is the same day." I know we're still at the beginning, by the way. This is like episode 10. But I'm going to put multiple choice here. And I want you to guess which one of these 3 options is the plot twist of this story. A, Cindy's mom and Nikki's mom got pregnant at the same time. B, Nikki and Cindy are twins. Or C, neither, and it's just a rare coincidence. I'll give you 5 seconds. Okay. We'll revisit this later on in the story, and we'll see if your choice is correct. Anyway, the gardener all of a sudden shows up. He goes, "Hey, Cindy, Nikki ditched me for Charles, and you look extra fuckable tonight." And then he jumps her. Jumps her. Be so serious. He jumps her, and she gets away, and the front door opens all of a sudden, and Charles is right there, and also it's daylight, although it was just dark as a wolf's mouth. All this, how? Doesn't matter. Charles decks him in the face and takes Cindy with him to his house. And they have a moment. She spends the night, and then they come into school together the next day. And she's like, "Pretend you don't know me at school," because he's like being all hee 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 ha 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 touchy lovey dovey. So he goes, "Pretend you don't know me at school." He's like, "Did last night change nothing for you?" And I was like,
"Sex. That's what I meant."
"Did y'all sleep together? Last time I saw you, you were like literally going toward the bedroom." Which, when I tell you, it's surprising they didn't show it, because the amount of gratuitous sex scenes, long sex scenes, like I'm pretty sure there's a whole episode that's just them having sex. And it's just like, it's not explicit by any means, but my God. Anyway, so they start the class. Charles is pissed for some reason, so he keeps going, "Cindy, what's this and that? Cindy, what's this and that?" Because she finds out that, I guess, Charles wants to merge with Jenkins Holdings, or whatever the company is called. And she gets mad because she's like, "Oh, so you're just using me. You're using me." And he's mad. So he asks her a question about a merger. And then, one more question. "Cindy." And then he goes, out loud in front of the whole class. In front of the whole class. I would unalive myself at that point. I don't think I could continue to exist when this is what I have to deal with. The embarrassment I would feel if this was exposed at my school. Like, there's no coming back from that. I would literally just cry myself to sleep at that point, because what do you mean you're gonna just expose our business like that in front of the whole class? And then, she says, "Charles, we did it." And then he yells at her again. And then he gets up to the front. He's like, "See me after class." He gets up to the front podium, and he goes, "Turn your books to chapters, whatever." His attitude switched real quick. That's the first well, there's been plenty of red flags beforehand, but that's a red flag the size of Venezuela. Absolutely not. And then she does stay after class. He tries to be sexy with her, and she's like, "No, we cannot." So then he sits her down, and he goes, "I noticed that you turn in your assignments and they're great, but they're often late. You don't even go here full time. Why?" And she goes, "Well, I can't afford to go here full time, and she basically works like a slave. She's in a slave contract, to be honest with you." And he says, "I can offer you a scholarship so you can go here full time. You don't even have to work for them anymore." And she says, "No, because if I leave, they're not gonna give my mom the kidney." Girl, you can find another job. You can literally, Harvey offered you a job. I'm sure, because this guy is so smitten by you, he could probably also offer you a job. I don't think he's gonna leave you hanging like that, but to each their own, I guess. She gets home after school because she's late for work, and She finds out because both Jenkins' parents are there, both mom and dad are there today, and they tell her that Nikki got into an accident with the gardener because she was very upset that her and Charles left together. So she was driving distressed and got into a car crash. And now she's in a coma. So now they're having Cindy like play like there, you know how back in like the 15th century, I think, they had weddings by proxy where they had somebody stand in place of the bride if she was too far so they could still perform the wedding. That's literally what they're gonna do. That's literally, they're gonna have her stand in for Nikki and get married to this man. And she goes, well, what if Nikki doesn't wake up for a while? Do you expect me to what, keep having sex with this man, give him children, and then what? Just like, what do you want me to do after that? And they said, you're gonna play the part for as long as we want you to, otherwise your mom will get the kidney. I'm not gonna keep harping on it, but she is a go. She says, I'm game. My nose, I go, they don't look alike at all. Everyone is going to know, like, what do you mean? And I say, you know what, sure. um they tell her, we're gonna make you look exactly like Nikki, and they cut her shoulder because Nikki has like a birthmark on her shoulder. They cut her shoulder. Crazy. Wedding day arrives. She's sitting there with her dress, and Girly Pop is hesitating. She's like, listen, I don't think I want to do this. I don't think this is the go. I don't think this is the move. I don't think this is what I want to do. And Rich Mom goes, well, I guess then you don't want your mom to get that kidney transplant next week. I guess Yuno's found a donor. And so that's literally what she asked. They found a donor? And Dad says, yes, they did. And unless you do this, she won't get it. And they promise her that they'll do it. But I don't trust a single promise that comes out of that rich person's mouth. Absolutely not. Dad walks her down the aisle, and Charles said, it's so good to see you. I'm glad to see you here, whatever. They vow to each other. She goes like, if you promise to love me for whatever and whoever I am. I'm like, girl, be more obvious. Be more obvious. I beg you, please. Charles, all of a sudden, like, he can tell she's Cindy and he calls her Cindy, and she's like, you know? And again, if they're so identical, how come it's so easy for Charles to tell them apart? Like, also, side note, every time that she pretends to be Nikki, all they do is put a red lip on her. And in my notes, I put down the fact that all they have to do is add a red lip and they think she passes as Nikki is crazy, because it is. What do you mean all I have to do is put on a red lip and we're exactly the same? So before the red lip, we don't look exactly the same? It doesn't make sense to me, but oh well. Anyway, they kiss because, they say you're now husband and wife, you may kiss the bride. And they kiss. It's a very obviously passionate kiss because they like each other at this point. After that, she goes into the room, I'm guessing to change to her reception dress, or I don't know why. And Nikki's mom literally slaps her because she kissed him at the altar. I want to know, what did you want her to do? High five him? But yeah, mom's delusional. Absolutely delusional. And then all of a sudden, Nikki's back and she still has her hospital gown on. She just got into this car wreck. She was just in a coma. Now, granted, it could have been a short coma, but there's procedures before you're discharged, especially after a coma. They have to do multiple tests on you to make sure you don't have any head trauma, I'm guessing. Especially, brain damage, anything like that, any damage to, like, your body before you leave. But she's there, standing up all happy and giggly and with a full face of makeup, of course. And they force Cindy out of the wedding dress. They get Nikki in it. And, they say, why would you ever think that Charles wanted anything with you? And they walk off, and then, like, she slides down the door all dramatically and crying in, like, this, like, little white set that she was wearing under the dress, I'm guessing. It's appropriate enough. It, like, reaches, like, her mid-thigh, I guess. Like the shirt or camisole or whatever it is. And Harvey finds her and he's like, are you okay, Cindy? And she's like, oh, yeah, let me go put on something more appropriate. and she puts on her maid outfit and starts passing out, like passing hors d'oeuvres out, or like snacks out through the wedding. And Charles sees her, and then he sees Nikki, and he's like, Cindy, why are you dressed like that? And then they trip her, and he picks her up, and he's like, why are you treating her like this? I'm pretty sure he called her his wife, even though Nikki technically is his wife. And he takes her away. He literally takes her from the party, and they go to meet her mom, which turns out, I guess, immediately after she left with him, they took away the credit card that was on file for her mom's treatments. So when they get there, I don't know how long it's been, but when they get there, she's literally in a gurney outside in the hallway. This patient needs a kidney transplant. Why wouldn't they contact Homegirly to let her know that this happened? For one. And why would they put her out in the hallway knowing dang well if she needs a kidney transplant, I'm guessing she's on dialysis? And if she's been in the hospital this long, it's probably fairly bad, so she probably has to be in constant dialysis, or at least very often. So why would you put her in a hallway without that? But that's besides the point. Charles meets her mom. He's like, I'll take care of everything. And they put her back in a room, and they make sure that she's taken care of. And then they go to confront the Jenkinses, and all of a sudden, like, something ensues, a fight. Sydney gets pushed and she passes out. She wakes up after 8 hours in the hospital, and Charles tells her that she is pregnant. And she's like, how? I've only ever had sex with one person. So Charles is like, so it's my baby. Great. I'll take care of it. I'll take care of you because you're my wife. Because, side note, Cindy introduced him to her mom as her husband. So, but yeah, that's my baby, whatever. Ugh. And then, I don't remember if it's here. I'm pretty sure it's here. He finds out that Nikki is Cindy's twin sister. So if you chose option B out of the multiple choice, ding ding ding, you were correct. So yeah, they are twin sisters, identical apparently. Again, not, but that's besides the point. I guess Nikki's mom was also pregnant with a baby. And Cindy's mom actually got assaulted by Nikki's dad. And this baby was, they both were a result of that. Nikki's mom's baby ended up being a stillborn, so she stole Nikki and raised her as her own, whilst I believe Cindy's mom's name is Sherry, kept Cindy and raised her as her own. And she discovers this because Charles tells her that there is a possibility of a donor if they get Nikki on it, because I guess she's a match. And my thing is, if she's a match, wouldn't Cindy also be a match? Then again, DNA is complicated. I know that's not how it works. I don't even remember how he found out that she's a match for her mom, but I guess they found out. And they also find out that, like, the Jenkins family finds out that Cindy is pregnant, and they keep insisting that Cindy have an abortion if they want Nikki to give her kidney. Cindy refuses, and then Nikki reveals that she's also pregnant with Charles's baby. Editing me here, I forgot to mention that after they found out that Cindy's pregnant, in the process of them trying to convince Nikki to help them with the kidney and the whole sperm thing, Nikki's mom sets up a trap for Cindy, basically like creating a fake article of like Charles and Nikki being single into the hotel room. Cindy stupidly goes to the hotel to confront Charles and ends up being strapped down to the bed by Nikki's mom, and she is trying to make her swallow abortion pills, I'm guessing. And Cindy's trying her best to like spit them out because she's literally forcing them into her mouth. And then Charles comes in and He basically tells her, if you want to leave this hotel room, you better not touch her or me or ever come near us again. And yeah, that's what happens. I forgot to add that in my storytelling. Sorry. Back to the video. And that Cindy agreed to get his sperm for her so that she could impregnate herself. Cindy says that's a lie. I did not do that. Absolutely not. I would never do that to you. That's disgusting. Why would I lie to you? And he goes, well, our whole relationship started in a lie. I need you to be so for real right now, because this person that you have been living with and that you literally took away from this abusive relationship that she's been, or this abusive dynamic that she's been in her whole life, you're gonna believe her abusers? Because he does believe them briefly, like he doubts her, and she keeps trying to explain that that's not at all what happened. And Nikki shows him this like doctor video where somebody that's a lookalike of Cindy is wearing like what would be her like an outfit of hers, because they have very distinct clothing choices. And um I don't know how she did it. She cut an audio so that it seemed like Cindy was saying that I'll get you his sperm, but she says it's a lie. Eventually, Charles finally like fully believes her instead of doubting her. And he says, "We're not doing this. We're walking out." And then she starts bleeding, so they have to go to the hospital again. Um, Baby's fine, and then they go back to school because now they're like fully dating, and she stays after class, and they have a full-on sexy moment. And the dean of the school sees them, and he's like, I can't lose this job because, so the reason he can't lose the job is because in order for Nikki to give her kidney to Sherry, Mr. Jenkins, Nikki's dad, asked Charles to sign his whole company over to him. Again, I need y'all to be so for real. But anyway, Charles does that. Sherry gets the kidney. Basically, he can't lose the job because he doesn't have his company anymore. Which you would think you would have had like a savings account somewhere to make sure that you'd be okay in case something like this happens. But obviously, I guess rich people don't think far ahead. At least not the ones in this universe. They don't. Um, and then Nikki's mom asks Sydney to come back because there's no way she's gonna be taking care of Sherry, because she holds a lot of hatred for her because she thinks that she seduced her husband when in reality her husband is a piece of crap. Um, Cindy ends up going, but Charles goes with her, and they share a bedroom and stuff. And then um, he decides that they're gonna go public with their relationship because there's absolutely no way that he's gonna get fired, and he can get fired if his relationship with a student, I guess, is public, which is not the case at all. But that's beside the point. Um, in the midst of them announcing that they're married and that they're dating and that they're together, Nikki like has like a breaking news moment where she's saying that, because at this point Cindy had already told her that they were twins, and Nikki refused to believe it, and she refused to help until the whole sign your company over to me and I'll get Nikki to do it kind of thing. Um, Nikki's saying that Cindy stole her life and that she's pretending to have Charles's baby when she's carrying Charles's baby, and that she's horrible and a liar and that she stole everything from her. And this causes like a wave of hate. And oh my god, this causes a wave of hate. And um, you know, they end up having to like get out of the interview because they keep asking her about it. And she keeps seeing all these hate comments about her, and like eventually Charles figures out a way to like get back at the Jenkins, which basically, I guess when he sent the company over to Mr. Jenkins didn't read the fine print and didn't notice that it said that any partners and shareholders got to do their own little investigation into Jenkins Holdings to make sure that everything was in order, and they found out he was embezzling funds and money laundering, and like he just went about it like willy-nilly doing it. And obviously they called the feds, and he was like, please don't call the feds. If you don't call the feds, if you tell them to let us go, that we won't bother you anymore. And he goes, no, I'm gonna make you pay, I'm gonna make you suffer. And then turns out that Nikki kidnapped Sherry and took her away, and homeboy refuses to let them know where she is unless they call off the police search and stuff. But it doesn't matter because eventually they find out where she is. And like Nikki, for some reason, is like, I don't care what I have to do. I will not let anything hold me back. I will make sure to get revenge and to get my life back. I don't care if this baby is Charles's. I don't care if I marry Charles. I just don't want you to be having this life because this is my life. I want my life back, I guess is what she's saying. So this bitch takes out a knife and I'm gonna put a trigger warning at the beginning of this video. I just chose that. I'm gonna put a trigger warning at the beginning of this video and like at any point that I feel necessary. This girl pulls out a knife and she
Help! They're trying
cuts
to kill me!
a cut in her wrist. And she's like, she's trying to kill me, she's trying to kill me, she's horrible, and the reporters run to her, and they're trying to be so sympathetic. And I guess this whole time Cindy was recording with her phone, and she goes up to the reporters and starts playing the whole audio, and they all believe Cindy and not Nikki. Her and Charles end up getting married. They find Sherry. They have a few months later, they go into labor with the fakest belly I've ever seen in my life. Literally, like, I know they probably didn't have that much budget, but they could have definitely tried to at least invest in like a, even if it wasn't like a fancy fake belly, at least a mid fake belly, you know, like a semi okay one that would, you know, I'm pretty sure what they probably did was just like, I don't know, mold a balloon and then throw it on top of her. I don't know. They have their baby, and then at the end of the story, Charles is also holding another baby, and I'm like, don't tell me this girl had twins. But no, Nikki also had her baby, and she abandoned her. She wanted nothing to do with her baby, so she abandoned her. So they took her in, and Cindy goes, I can imagine that things would have been different if we were raised as sisters, if we were raised together. So these babies will be raised together, and they will be raised in a loving home. And Charles goes, absolutely. They say I love you to each other. They kiss. The end. Oh my god. I probably skimmed through like a lot of specific details. Cindy has a lot of miscarriage scares and stuff. And like there's a lot of punching still. But yeah, that's basically The Virgin and the Billionaire. My god, it was I'm in shambles. I'm in shambles because like this is exactly the plot of a novela. I'm sure there's a novela out there that has literally the same storyline, and I'm dying to like find it because like this is insanity. Anyway, I think this will be it for this video. I'll probably talk about the other story I watched on ReelShorts next week or whenever I feel like recording the next video. In the meantime, please, sorry this was a little chaotic and it's my first video, so if you have any suggestions, any advice, any constructive criticism, please let me know down below in the comments. Make sure you press like. If you like what you see so far and if you like me, please consider subscribing. It's free and it helps me a ton. And yeah, I hope to see you soon to talk about more crappy novelas, and then hopefully I can work on like that review of books I read when I was in 8th grade. And yeah, I hope you all like this video and I will see you all soon. Bye!